Story 1. I'm still trying to process it all, and maybe writing it down here will help. Or maybe it'll just make it more real. Either way, here goes. I was mindlessly swiping on Tinder one night. Don't judge. I was just looking for some harmless fun, nothing serious. But then I stumbled upon a profile that stopped me dead in my tracks. The name said Electra, but the photos? They were unmistakably of my girlfriend. The same smile, the same eyes, even the same little mole on her cheek. The age matched too. I tried to convince myself it was just a fake account, someone using her pictures. But deep down, I had this sinking feeling. I did what any guy in my shoes would do. I called in a favor, asked a buddy of mine to try his luck with Electra and see where it led. I was hoping he'd come back and tell me it was all a big misunderstanding. But life's never that simple, is it? Turns out, not only was it her, but they ended up sleeping together. And the kicker? He did it to open my eyes about the kind of girl I was with. We were on the brink of moving in together, planning a life. And all the while, she's living this double life. I'm still grappling with it all. The betrayal, the shock, the what-ifs. And as for my buddy, I forgave him. He did me a favor, in a twisted way. But her? That's a different story. After hearing my friend's revelation, I was a mess of emotions. Anger, confusion, disbelief. It all swirled inside me. But before jumping to conclusions, I needed to hear her side of the story. So I went to confront my girlfriend about the whole ordeal. When I brought up the Tinder profile and what my friend had told me, her reaction was immediate and fierce. She vehemently denied everything, insisting that the Tinder account was fake and that she had never met up with my friend. She was adamant that he was lying, trying to drive a wedge between us for reasons she couldn't fathom. And then, she turned the tables on me, questioning why I was on Tinder in the first place. Her anger was palpable, and I could see the hurt in her eyes. I tried to explain that I was just mindlessly swiping, not looking for anything serious. But in that moment, it felt like a weak excuse. Here I was, accusing her of betrayal while I was on a dating app behind her back. The conversation left me even more conflicted. On one hand, I had my friend, who had no reason to lie to me, telling me he'd slept with my girlfriend. On the other, I had my girlfriend, who I'd been with for a significant amount of time, swearing that it was all a lie and that she was being framed. I'm stuck in this agonizing limbo, torn between two people I care about, not knowing who to trust. It feels like I'm in a lose-lose situation. If I believe my friend, I risk losing a relationship that means the world to me. If I believe my girlfriend, I risk being made a fool of and getting hurt even more down the line. So I turn to you. What would you do in my shoes? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Last update. Here's the update many of you have been waiting for. After reading all your comments and suggestions, I decided to take matters into my own hands and get to the bottom of this once and for all. I did what some might call a bold move. I invited both my friend and my girlfriend over to my place, without either of them knowing the other would be there. I figured if there was any truth to be uncovered, this would be the way to do it. The moment they saw each other, the atmosphere in the room became palpably tense. My girlfriend's demeanor changed instantly. Her face went pale, and she looked like she'd seen a ghost. My friend, on the other hand, looked equally uncomfortable but more resigned, like he knew what was coming. After a few minutes of awkward small talk, my friend finally broke the silence. He confessed, confirming that he had indeed slept with my girlfriend and that the Tinder profile was hers. The weight of his words hung heavy in the air. My girlfriend's reaction was explosive. Tears streamed down her face as she yelled at both of us, her anger and hurt evident. In a fit of rage, she slapped my friend across the face and stormed out of my apartment, leaving behind a trail of devastation. I was left in a state of shock, trying to process everything that had just transpired. My friend apologized profusely, reiterating that he only wanted to open my eyes to the truth. As much as I wanted to be angry with him, I couldn't. He had been honest with me from the start. even if his methods were questionable. That said, I've decided to take a step back from both of them for now. I need time to heal, to reflect, and to figure out what I want moving forward. The trust I had in my relationship is shattered, and I'm not sure it can ever be fully repaired. As for my friendship, only time will tell if it can withstand the strain of recent events. Thank you all for your support and advice throughout this ordeal. For now, I'm choosing solitude and self-reflection, hoping to find clarity and peace in the days to come. Wow! Do you think the buddy was right in helping his friends see the truth about his girlfriend? Or did he cross a line? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And as you think about that, we have another intriguing tale coming up. Can years of marriage withstand the weight of deceit? Let's find out. But before starting with the next story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It will help us to produce more videos. Thank you so much. Story 2. Just found out my wife is still trickle-truthing years later. Hi all. I lurk quite a bit, but seldom post as I have just been wanting to learn how everyone has dealt with their betrayal. My 50 years old wife, 50 years old, cheated on me a few times about 7 years into our 34-year marriage for I think a period of 6 months. I trusted her completely until the OBP called me and told me what happened. He was a coworker that she told me was gay. Turns out, nope. Rug swept after hysterical bonding. It always seemed to not add up, but I let sleeping dogs lie. The past year, I've been in therapy and was advised to communicate my doubts and struggles I've been holding on to for all these years. After the initial, "Why are you bringing this up after all these years?" she finally confessed to the things and suspected with her app. Mostly how many times and what happened. Who started it? Him. Who ended it, she says her, etc. I never understood if she ended why with OBP, the one to tell me and provide evidence. Still don't believe this, but this long after. I probably will never know. This brings us to last night. We are traveling and went out for cocktails last night. She got really, really drunk. In fact, she is still on the couch feeling sick. She was asking how my therapy was going, as I have PT from military service, which led me to discussing the affairs with my psych. I told her I feel much better since we started communicating more effectively, and that I should have not rug swept all those years ago, as I think that is why I never really healed. I told her the sex wasn't what upset me so much, but the lies and betrayal. Wished she had been honest with me at some point over the years and just put it all on the table so we could get it behind us. I told her I still to this day don't completely trust her. So, drunk wife and I were having a nice chat about this. She said she always assumed that I messed around in college, which I absolutely did not. She didn't believe me, so I said talk to any of our friends at the time. I whip out my phone and said, "Who would you like to ask?" She said one of my buddies that she knows. So I called him immediately, let him know that we, my WW, and I are being completely honest and wanted to get all the truth out, and to please truthfully answer any questions that she had. He laughed, and I gave her the phone and left to use the restroom so she could ask anything. I knew she wouldn't find out anything because I drank a lot, but was married and had no interest in messing around. Went to college after military and was married since 18. Come back from the restroom and she was crying and said that I truly was innocent. I told you, honey. So she feels better that her suspicions were not founded, and she relaxes, and we keep enjoying the night. Since college came up and my being the old guy of 30 at my college parties and just drinking as I saw everyone as a kid, she said she knows the feeling. Again, she was super drunk. She said when she went to her sister's, 6 years younger, homecoming at her college since she was in the court, went to a frat party after with her sister and my soon-to-be brother-in-law. Said she got drunk and hooked up with a college guy. She says, just kissing. My bio somehow came in and caught them, asked what the hell was going on and threw the guy out. It was my Bill's frat, and the other guy was just a guest. I just let it roll, hoping she would continue and perhaps tell me about something else, so I didn't want to interrupt. I really wanted this to be behind me. So here it is. Now I know that she did something with a younger college guy that my bile had to break up. I love my bile and Sil to the moon and back. They are my favorite people, and I am their kid's godfather. I have no idea what to do with this. This happened about 5 years after her initial affair, when we were supposedly reconciled. When she brought up going to the college homecoming without me, I told her I was uncomfortable. She called me controlling, and I need to get over the affair. Now, I doubt that the two guys before I found out the first time, and this innocent only a kiss, are the end of it. I also don't believe that it didn't go further than a kiss. Here is my dilemma. Should I just let it go 20 years later? I kind of want to, again, pin her down with an ultimatum that if she doesn't come clean to everything prior in our relationship, I'm gone. I also don't know what to do about my bile and Sil that knew about all this and never told me. I am just so exhausted with hanging on to everything. I went from thinking all the nonsense was long behind us, but now I don't trust her at all. Sorry for the wall of text, but I honestly don't have anyone to talk to about this. I am stuck with her at Disney World for the next 2 weeks, and I kind of just want to leave and go home alone. Am I making a bigger deal out of this than I should? I feel like a jealous and obsessive jerk for not being able to get over this. Not sure if that is gaslighting or what. I would really like to hear thoughts and advice. I really love her, and she is pretty much the only person I ever had a relationship with. I'm kind of broken. I was ready to retire in 2 years with her. Now I am think of just leaving. Update. Thank you all for the kind support and comments. I was sitting reading this thread and stewing. I told her we need to talk, and she knew what was coming. I told her what I was thinking, how hurt I was. I will be calling my Bill for his side of what he saw. Apparently my Sil was in a different part of the house, also tipsy, and had no idea. I'm assuming her future husband eventually told her. Basically, at this point I'm going to preserve my options. Let her know I need a complete listing of every extracurricular since we have been married. Then Mick. She and I are already in IC. Me due to military injuries peeps. But I also talk about this stuff, and her for depression and dad issues. I didn't promise her I would stay. I told her I was only considering it and it's 50-50 leave or divorce. She said she figured I would feel that way. But that event was the last thing, and she wanted to get everything out, and that is why she told me. In fairness, the original D-Day didn't end well. If it happened today, would have been arrested. Kicked in his door and beat the hiss out of him. I was still in college and playing hockey. I didn't react well, and she was worried about how I would react. This is fair. I will update as things progress, but I'm going to follow this plan for the time being. I did say divorce was completely on the table, and she believes it. She told me she knows she broke me, and as she is now an old lady in her own words, that isn't her anymore, and she only wants me to heal. Can't see things clearly yet, so I'll reevaluate after cooling down in at least one McSession. Thank you all. I really don't have anyone to talk to about this. Some updates in the comments. Stuck at our Florida home in a hurricane for another week. I've been keeping my distance. Told her last night that I was sorry she assumed I was fooling around in college, and that it must have been painful to keep those feelings all these years. I said, "Honey, I don't want you to worry. I found a local polygraph service. I'll pay and answer any questions you may have." She got quiet and said it isn't necessary. I'm going to keep bring it up again for her sake again, and ask her when would be a good time for the appointment when we return. She didn't seem too bothered. Either she has now been honest, or she believes I'm a nice guy and would never take it that far. She did say I should talk to my biosil about it. That is a good sign. She doesn't think I will, but it is happening. A user said, "Any new updates? Did you talk to Bill?" The op replied, "At the airport. Heading home. I've been enjoying myself with local friends. I'm seeing Bile next weekend and I want to do it face to face. They live an hour away. Looking to see his reaction when I ask. WW thinks I'm dropping the issue so hopefully I'll have an element of surprise. She won't bring it up because she'd be embarrassed. Another user said, "The thing is, even if that was the last thing, she doesn't seem remorseful. She seems like she's sorry that you're taking it bad right now. But she isn't regretting that her deliberate actions to make herself feel good in the moment caused you 20 years of emotional pain. Is she doing any crying and saying, 'sorry', which would only be theatrics at this point, but at least she would be trying to show she understands how this has affected you. Also, I didn't understand your post above. Did she find a local polygraph for you or gore her?" The op replied, "Up thread. Someone suggested I propose the polygraph and hope for a parking lot confession. I have no intention of following through. It is over her head, and if there is something else, I hope she opens up. I'm going to check in with my bile, but not make a big deal about it. Just want to gauge his culpability. Did he squash it and nothing else happened? If so, I'll be good with him as it was only a drunken kiss. W has been extremely remorseful for years and apologized many times genuinely and sincerely. She tells me sometimes that she withheld parts and the kissing because my PTs was getting worse as I got older. My vet affairs psych also think I have KT from the severity and number of concussions, have plate and mesh in my head, and one of my legs is half prosthetic. She worried that I was already so damaged that it would only make things worse for me. I kind of want to believe her. I did react very badly when I found out. Thought I was going to beat the app. Not the guy she kissed. Almost to death. I went to his house and gave him one of the worst beatings I could imagine. His face was a wreck, and I thought I was going to prison. I think the obs and my wife kind of calmed things down given he kind of earned it. And I had my military issues I was dealing with. No winners there. At this point, my plan is to bring this up again in IC and set up Meek. This needs to be over and I am moving on. She hasn't given me a reason to doubt her for years. So knowing me, I'm just going to eat the humiliation again. Hopefully, she has truly earned my trust at this point. I'm still doing Disney mostly by myself, as I am not very pleasant around her. I'll cool down in a couple of days, but I'll see my bile on the 13th, and we'll see how that goes. Years of doubt and questioning can surely take its toll on anyone. How would you react if you were in his shoes? Drop your thoughts below. That's the end of our episode for today. If you enjoyed these stories and want more, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and activate the notification bell. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.